Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by Boston Hemp, Inc. Wednesday, May 15th, Ian Cameron with you, ready to break down the Colorado-Dallas Game 5, the only game in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Alex B. Smith is back with us tomorrow. He made the announcement earlier today. He got in late yesterday, back home, taking a day to get, errands done, stuff like that. You always have shit to do when you get back home after a trip. So he's taking today to do that, and he'll be back with us tomorrow. Daily show and the Patreon exclusive live betcast tomorrow night as well. Speaking of betcast, it was a great betcast last night. We thank all of our Patreon members for joining us last night, either in the YouTube chat tuning in or on the stream with us. Always enjoyable, great camaraderie, great company kept with our great viewers and fans and listeners of the show. Last night was no exception. So we thank you for joining us there. And a reminder, if you missed last night's betcast, don't worry, we've got another one on the way tomorrow night. There you see it on the screen. Thursday night, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, we are back at it for another Patreon exclusive Ice Guys Stanley Cup Playoffs live betcast. And the only way to tune in and the only way to join us on the stream is to sign up for just $10 per month at patreon.com/Ice Guys. Again, another betcast tomorrow night, and tomorrow night are two tremendous games. We've got the Rangers Hurricanes, which is suddenly a series, pressure shifting a little bit to the New York Rangers with Game 6 tomorrow night in Raleigh. That's the first game tomorrow night, and then, of course, we've got Game 5 of what is now a 2-2 series between the Vancouver Canucks and Edmonton Oilers as the scene shifts back to Van City for Game 5 tomorrow night. So it's a great doubleheader tomorrow night. If you didn't join us or couldn't make it last night, you have another opportunity tonight, tomorrow night on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So tomorrow night, make sure you join us, another Patreon exclusive Ice Guys live betcast. Let's recap last night. It began, of course, with the Boston Bruins. Tremendous job by them. A lot of people didn't like their chances of extending the series. I was basically half right, half wrong with that game. The half right part of the game for me was I thought Boston would show up early, and they did. We cashed Boston to score in the first period, -110. Boston first period money line, which is a really nice price, +152. It's what I ended up getting with the Boston Bruins on that first period money line. But what I did not expect, and what I got half wrong in that game, was I thought Florida would kind of do what they did in Game 4. They'd start slow, they'd fall behind, but we'd see Florida assert themselves, get to their game, get stronger as the game went on. Didn't really see that last night. Now, there were times that they did have ozone time, and they did have the Boston Bruins running around a bit in their own zone. But I just thought some nights in hockey, when a team loses a game, sometimes it's just you're awful. You're defensively, you have bad defensive coverage and breakdowns. And some nights your goaltender just doesn't make the key saves. It wasn't that. And it certainly wasn't that Swayman stole the game. He was very good. But I think the biggest issue for Florida last night was they just couldn't get anything to click offensively. Passes weren't clicking. There was that. It seemed like every time there was a pass, the puck bounced and it jumped over a stick. And then, of course, they lose possession. It was that kind of night. The fluidity of the Panthers' execution with the puck last night was way below average. And I think it ended up coming back to hurt them in the end. Now, that's to take nothing away from Boston. A very prideful team, a very back against the wall, desperation, sense of urgency performance last night from the Boston Bruins. But you can tell with Florida, their offensive precision was just not there. How you just have to have that great final touch, that great precision, make the great pass, make a great shot. They didn't have the great pass. They didn't have the great shot at any point last night. They were just off the mark a little bit. Passes were off the mark a little bit. Shots were off the mark a little bit. Look no further than it. I know he got their only goal, Sam Reinhart. He could have had like 4 goals last night. He had a multitude of chances, huge amount of chances. Just went nuts as far as shots on goal. But there were a couple chances he had too where point blank, just grade A. Some of them were grade A plus chances and just missed the net. He actually had a couple of those last night, Sam Reinhart for the Florida Panthers. So that's what I'm talking about the loss last night. I don't think first of all, Florida did need to start that game better than they did. You could tell one team played as a team that had their backs against the wall, that knew the season was over if they lost, and one team knew that they were up 3-1, and if we lose, we've got another game in our back pocket, or 2 games in our back pocket. But at the end of the day, when Florida did make their push, especially in the third to tie it, again, the passing wasn't sharp. They were just, puck was bouncing over sticks. There'd be a chance to make a pass, a stretch pass, get a Florida Panther forward in alone and just miss on it. It was that kind of night for Florida last night. It's just the offensive precision and execution was not crisp. But give credit to Boston. And one person I want to definitely congratulate and praise for their performance last night, other than Swayman. I mean, we've praised Swayman enough. We know Swayman's been fucking terrific here in these playoffs. You're not splitting the atom figuring that one out. But what I will say about Boston last night is the way Charlie McAvoy played. Charlie McAvoy knows he hasn't been great in these playoffs, and he probably has heard some of the chatter about what's wrong with Charlie McAvoy, what's wrong with this guy, why isn't he playing better? Why is he not chipping in a little bit offensively? Why is he, sometimes, trying to make a hit and getting himself caught out of position and, letting the other team, get a big chance or a big goal. I still remember that game 6 against Toronto in the first round. He goes for a hit in the neutral zone, and next thing you know, Nyes puts the puck behind him when he goes for that hit and misses and sends Nylander alone on a breakaway. So those little things for McAvoy, it's like, what's going on? What's wrong with this guy? He had the game of the playoffs for him, 100%, hands down, no question about it last night. He was phenomenal. Not only did he get 2 points, a goal and an assist, blocked shots, physicality, just being in the right spot at every time. That was a answer the bell moment last night for Charlie McAvoy. One of the leaders, one of the players they count on, and certainly with Brad Marchand missing, they count on him even more to be solid, be sound on the blue line for the Bruins, and he certainly was. So shout out to Charlie McAvoy for just a outstanding performance last night. And look, the Bruins finally got a couple 50-50 calls to go their way, and I kind of figured it would. Again, with the goal that ended up being allowed to stand in the second period, it was one of those deals where, I think Boston was due to get one of these goal reviews to go their way after what happened in Game 4, and that's exactly what happened. So, again, all the credit in the world to the Boston Bruins, an outstanding job. But if you think and they played well last night, they earned it. They earned the W. There's no question about it. And finally they shot the puck. Finally, they got over 20 shots on goal as a team for a game in this series. And that aggressive shooting mentality, I think, did them a big hand in trying to win that game last night for sure. But as well as Boston played last night, you're going to have to play even better if you're going to go back to Boston and win Game 6, because Florida will be better. And Florida has yet in these playoffs to lose 2 straight games. So that is something to keep in mind as the scene shifts back to TD Garden for Game 6 on Friday night. Florida has not dropped 2 consecutive games here in the Stanley Cup playoffs to this point. And that is something that a streak they'll be looking to continue basically on Friday night. And it's funny, you look actually at Florida, the 2 previous playoff losses they've suffered. They lost Game 4 against Tampa Bay in the first round, bounced back in Game 5 at home, won 6-1. They lost Game 1 of this series against Boston. Remember, coming off that long layoff, and they weren't really that sharp. What did we see from Florida after that? 6-1 Florida in Game 2. So 2-0 off a loss in these playoffs. They'll be a lot better. And they're going to put themselves in a position, I think, where they're going to play a lot better and put themselves in position to close out the series in Boston in Game 6. The question is, can the Bruins ramp their game up to another level? Because they're going to have to. If they think that playing the way they did last night, which was much better from them, is going to be enough Friday night, it's not, because Florida's going to raise their game and raise their game maybe tenfold. So that's going to be interesting to see how it goes here with the Florida Panthers in this next game, because they'll be better. Let's see if the Bruins can raise their game a little bit here as well. The other game last night, look, we see this often, right? Things aren't kind of going your way if you're the Edmonton Oilers. You're not getting that key critical save from Skinner. I still can't avoid doing that, even a night when he doesn't play. But Stuart Skinner was not obviously starting last night for Edmonton. Chris Knobloch made the decision. Obviously, I think he probably made it the day before Game 4 last night to turn to Calvin Pickard, give him the start. Because, look, this is not just Skinner's been struggling. Skinner's been not making saves on shots he should be. And I think that was a big problem. And they said, you know what? We need a shake up here. Skinner's been subpar. Let's go to Calvin Pickard. And that's not an easy decision to make. There's a journeyman goaltender with very little track record of success behind him. No playoff starts in his NHL career until last night. That is not a fucking easy decision to make for Chris Knobloch to actually pull the trigger on that goaltending change and goaltending switch last night. No question. So I think when you look at it, it's one of those deals for Edmonton where you wondered if that could galvanize the team. Could changing the goalie get these guys their heads screwed on, that we've got to be tighter defensively. We've got to, because look, that's part of the story too with Skinner's issues, is that they didn't play perfect hockey in front of them. Last night, Edmonton, and you could tell this right away when we were on the Betcast last night, this was going to be a game where Edmonton's going to try to win 3-1. They are hell-bent on proving to the world that they can defend, that they can support their goaltender, and that they can win a tighter, lower scoring brand of hockey game. And credit to them, they did it. It was a wild finish, which we'll get to, but that definitely was part of it. But you look at that game last night, that's exactly what happened. The Edmonton Oilers, they got the boost they were looking for from the goaltending change. You could tell they were on their toes early. They got the power play goal in the first period from Leon Draisaitl to go up 1-0. And look, Vancouver did attack. Vancouver did push for various portions of that game, but I thought better than at any point previously in the series, Edmonton kept them to the outside, really didn't give the Vancouver Canucks that opportunity to get, inside part of the ice. They didn't have many of those point-blank grade A chances that sometimes Edmonton gives up a few too many of. And even then, I was worried for Edmonton because for as well as they were playing, it was still 1-0. Vancouver's just hanging around, and one mistake and it could end up tied. But getting that goal late in the second, the neutral zone turnover, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins pops one to make it 2-0. That went a long way to the Oilers' cause. That being said, Vancouver's a feisty group, didn't go away. Connor Garland gets them on the board in the third. No chance for Pickard, the first goal that beats him. It took a deflection off Nurse, who was trying to block the shot, and went up over Pickard for the 2-1 goal. They tie the game in incredible fashion late in the third period, which cashed a live over 4.5 for me, Matt Robinson, a few of us on the Betcast. But I also took a live piece of the draw and the Vancouver Canucks when they made it 2-1, thinking, Edmonton now, could they tense up? Could Vancouver get momentum from that? And the moment Vancouver made it 2-1, they were all over Edmonton. Again, with the extra attacker, they tie the game 2-2, and you're thinking, boy, this is going to go to overtime now. We're going to hit this draw. Not so fast. Evan Bouchard had other plans. They can't clear the puck. Gets back to the point for Bouchard. He rips one past Shelovs, who gets a piece of it, but not enough. And Edmonton, with 38 seconds left, grabs a 3-2 lead. And that is the final score, 3-2 Oilers. And that could end up being, if we look back on Edmonton, if they win this series, they go to the West Final, and let's say they do even greater things, they go to a Cup Final and they win it or whatever, you're going to look back on that Evan Bouchard goal and think that could have saved it, saved any chances of us doing this. Because if that game goes to overtime last night, raise your hand if you thought Edmonton was going to win that game had it gone to overtime. I don't think many people would, because there is no doubt Vancouver would have had all the momentum going into overtime. They're the team that was down 2-0 and came back to tie it. Edmonton was the team that had a 2-0 lead and ended up coughing it up. If that game went to overtime, you knew momentum would be on Vancouver's side. So for the Oilers to get that game-winning goal from Evan Bouchard in the final minute, avoid overtime, get the win, that could prove to be the biggest goal of the Edmonton Oilers season. But again, for that to be the biggest goal of the Edmonton Oilers season, they have to win this series, or else it's a moot point. Who the hell cares anymore if you don't win this series? But if you now win this series, we're going to look back at that third period Evan Bouchard goal last night and say, wow, that's what turned the tide. That's what really got it going for the Edmonton Oilers. So credit to them. Credit to Knobloch. Big guts to make the goaltending change, especially because it's not like you're going from Stuart Skinner to Laurent Brossoit, or you're not going from Stuart Skinner to Jonathan Quick. You're not going from Stuart Skinner. Think of any solid, reasonably good backup goaltender in the NHL. That you can throw in there and say, you know what, Brossoit goes in the game, I think I can win. Jonathan Quick goes in the game, I think I can win. You go to Pickard, who is a journeyman. He's been with multiple organizations. I've lost count how many teams he's been with. 4, 5, maybe even more than that. A guy that hasn't had a single start in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's guts. That's balls to actually go forward with that kind of a change in net for Chris Knobloch. And he did, and give him credit for it. It paid off, because I think the goaltending change finally got Edmonton's attention. We have to play better team defense too, because that's the thing I want to stress. Because look, Pickard was really solid. He didn't give up the back-breaking goal, the soft goal, the Dairy Queen special that Stuart Skinner was given up in the first 3 games. But they made life pretty easy for him last night. Like, the defensive effort from the Oilers was very good. So it was a great job by the team. It was a very solid performance from Pickard, but he didn't have to be great last night. And if you then look to what Rick Tocchet said in the post-game press conference, he was not happy. He really wasn't. He went after his best players, and he didn't say his best players, his top players. He said there are 5 or 6 guys that they really need to get going. I think some of them don't know it's the playoffs now. That's basically what he said in the post-game press conference. But someone did ask him about Pettersson and said, I don't know what more I can tell you. We need him to get going. He did say that about Pettersson in particular, and it's true. Elias Pettersson here for Vancouver. Last night, geez, was he playing? Could you see him on the ice? Couldn't find him with a telescope performance last night from Elias Pettersson. And so Rick Tocchet, critical of upwards of a half dozen players last night for, not playing up to the level that they're capable of. So we'll see if the Vancouver Canucks get a response for Game 5 tomorrow night. My first thought is Vancouver's in a good spot tomorrow night after what they've responded all year. Tocchet, has picked his spots well to come down on the team, and I think another thing too is I want to see Pickard stand up and get a win and play well if in a game where Vancouver's going to put 20, 25, 30 shots on goal. Last night, look, the Oilers, to their credit, made life much easier for Pickard. What if tomorrow night Vancouver ramps their game up and offensively they're pressuring Edmonton way more than they did for extended portions of last night's game? Can Pickard stand in there and deliver? Because look, it was a pretty easy night for him. You don't have, there was maybe three or 4 at most tremendous, unbelievable chances last night for the Vancouver Canucks in that game. So that's the thing I caution everybody about. Don't get carried away with the Calvin Pickard, praise just yet. They made life easy for him. They defended very well in front of him last night. Let's see what happens tomorrow night when the scene shifts to Vancouver. Rick Tocchet also hinted at lineup changes tomorrow night for Vancouver, so I'm very interested to see what those will be. But definitely looking for better from his team, clearly, after what we saw last night. All right, let's get to tonight. There's only one game, standalone game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's got the spotlight treatment. It is Game 5, Western Conference semifinal. The Colorado Avalanche taking on the Dallas Stars. Do or die for the Colorado Avalanche, trailing this series 3-1. Right now, we've got the Dallas Stars here in game number 5, minus 140, home favorites. The total in this game is mostly 6.5, but there are a couple books, Pinnacle, Heritage, couple books that have 6 for this total instead of 6.5. So that's important to point out. Shop around. If you like under, find the 6.5. If you like over, find the 6. So make sure you shop around and you find the correct price with that. I'm not going to, come on here and say I love this game from a betting standpoint if I don't love it. And to me, there's a lot of questions here. Let's start with the broad perspective here and what we've seen so far here in the second round. We've seen the New York Rangers up 3-1 in Game 5 at home, have a chance to finish the series. Couldn't close. We saw the Florida Panthers last night up 3-1, Game 5 at home. Couldn't close. Here we go tonight. Dallas Stars up 3-1, Game 5 at home. Will they fail to close as the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers did? That's a concern for me. It's a big concern for me, especially laying minus 140 like you are here. Rope Hintz is out tonight for the Dallas Stars. That's a concern. That being said, Radek Faksa will draw in. He'll be on the 4th line. Peter DeBoer looks like he's going to shake up the lines here for the Dallas Stars tonight a little bit, with the obviously the absence of Hintz. And remember, they played without Hintz for what? The majority of Game 4 in Colorado the other night. Like, he got injured early second period. So they had a lot of time to basically adjust without him. Looks like right now we're going to see Jamie Benn, Wyatt Johnston, and Joe Pavelski. As of right now, I'm seeing that as a line together. Robertson, Tyler Seguin on the second line with Logan Stankoven. Marchment, Duchesne, Dodonov, the third line. And then, as I mentioned, Radek Faksa draws back into the lineup, playing with Sammy Steele and Craig Smith on the 4th line. And then the defensive pairs, we got Harley and Heiskanen, Lindell and Tanev, Suter and Lundqvist. So not really much change there as far as that's concerned. You look at this Colorado team, and if there's ever a time where you want to say, you know what, sometimes the best decision is watch how the game starts and make betting decisions from that point. How does anyone have faith in what we're going to get out of Colorado tonight, one way or the other? The one part of me says, wait a minute, this team's down 3-1. Their season's on the line. This team full of Stanley Cup winners, especially, Rantanen and McKinnon on this team, and Devon Taves and Cale Makar. And it looks like Devon Taves is back, and that is significant for the Avalanche. The loss of Taves, everyone talked about Nichushkin, which is a huge loss, but that was a pretty big loss too, Devon Taves in Game 4, because all of a sudden Jared Bednar, for him, it scrambles the defensive combinations and the defensive pairs, and now you can get everyone aligned again here tonight properly. Taves is back in the lineup, back with Makar, Gerard with Manson, Jack Johnson with Sean Walker. It just makes everything, it just makes the blue line more in sync tonight. That's huge that Devon Taves is back from his illness. There's no doubt. But how the hell do you have any faith in what Colorado's going to do? That team looked like a mentally and emotionally distraught, bothered, disturbed hockey team the other night, because they were not ready to play hockey. When they found out the Nichushkin news, it hit them like a fucking ton of bricks. It did. It absolutely threw them for a loop. They couldn't recover. They had that horrendous first period. 17-2 in shots for Dallas at one point. And then you read some of the quotes and saw some of the comments. It looked like someone died in the dressing room after that loss. Jack Johnson saying, it was his decisions that he made. They took the nameplate down. It almost looked like a scene where Colorado's already surrendered and waving the white flag. That's what it felt like to me, watching Colorado in Game 4 and then hearing the quotes from the players after the game. They look like they've tapped out already, and it feels like it. It sounds like it. It looks like it to me. But at the end of the day, I keep thinking, well, they're at least going to have Taves back. You've had a day to process this now. This is your season on the line. This is a Stanley Cup winning team just 2 years ago. Are they really going to just go out with a whimper? This group, McKinnon, Rantanen, Makar, this core trio, they're just going to lay down and just, that's it. Season over. Nichushkin screwed us. Nichushkin basically sewered us in a second straight year for making a deep playoff run, and we're done. I wish I could tell you I had faith Colorado's rising up and putting that shit aside and playing a hell of a hockey game tonight with a chance to extend the series. I can't guarantee that. I have no fucking idea if they will. I have no clue if they will, because that looked so awful, and the comments coming out of that Game 4 loss were just equally as demoralized, beaten down mentally and emotionally. That's not a team I'm looking to back here. It's just not. So I don't want any part of this game. I have Dallas to win the West. I have Dallas to win the Stanley Cup. There's no reason for me to be betting Dallas here. None. Zero. Why the hell would I lay minus 140 with Dallas here when I've got Dallas to win the West already? Take that big step. Just hope they end it tonight. Get into that Western Conference final. I don't need to take Dallas minus 140 tonight here in this game. So again, we're going to have to see how it goes. Like I said, you're gonna know early in the game. First 5-10 minutes, is Colorado ready to extend the series? Are they ready to keep playing hockey? Or is it going to be one of these deals where Dallas is up 10-2 in shots again, 12-2, 14-2, and they look like Colorado is ready for the beach, ready for the golf course? That's why this is a live betting spot for me, sidewise, in this game. Sidewise it is. So we'll see how it goes. Again, the part of me is half of me says it's hard to fucking believe Colorado's just going to lay down and they're not going to play better after what we saw in Game 4. But then there's part of me that saw and read the quotes and saw the facial expressions and saw the beaten down, expression on these players' faces after that loss, thinking, this Nichushkin, man, he did it to us again. He let us down. He betrayed us, stabbed us in the back. We gave him a second fucking chance, and he blew it again. And now, as a result, we're out maybe our second best forward, at worst, third best forward on the team after Rantanen and McKinnon. I'm going to say he's the second best forward on the team ahead of Rantanen, because Rantanen, I don't think, has had a great series. And I know Jared Bednar agrees with me, because he was asked about McKinnon and Rantanen, in the Game 3 loss, and he said it looked like Rantanen and McKinnon were a lot better, because he called them out after Game 2, both of those guys. And then after Game 3, it looked like they did play a little better, even though Dallas won that game 2-1. And Bednar, someone asked him, what did you think of Rantanen and McKinnon? Looked like they both played a little bit of a better overall game tonight. Bednar said, Mac played a pretty good game. He didn't say shit about Rantanen. He just said Mac played a pretty good game. So so he agrees with me clearly. Rantanen has really not had a great series. And it's not so much that the offense has been missing from him. It's puck management. He's turning the puck over. He's treating the puck like a hand grenade right now for the Colorado Avalanche. That's in areas that are giving Dallas, and they're fueling their offense and giving them prime scoring chances. So that's definitely the issue here with him. He's got to find it. He's got to find another gear. So as of right now, I'm not really moving here on a side pre-game here. Let's see how this game plays out. We'll see how it goes. The main bet that I've got in this game is over 6. And I'll explain why that is. If you look at the two games in Dallas, they both went over the total. Game 1 went over the total. Game 2 went over the total. Let's be honest about Georgiev. If not for Georgiev in Game 4, Dallas would have had 8 goals, not just 5. And remember, one of them did go into the empty net. I'm not trusting Georgiev to be that good again. I've seen enough of Alexander Georgiev when he has that one game where he plays above expectation. Don't expect the next game to follow above expectation. So for me, Dallas is probably going to find their way to some goals tonight. The hope for me with over 6 is we get some life and a pulse out of Colorado. And you got to hope Devon Taves being reunited with Cale Makar on the top pair helps that. You got to hope McKinnon, there's still a burr in the saddle for him to, let's give it our best shot, extend this series, keep our season alive. And that's basically what I'm going on. So that's it. As far as side and total, that's the only thing. And then even the first period over, I'm not in love with it. Because remember the second game in Dallas, that game was 1-0 for the Stars. And then the goals came in the second period and the third period. And this is an elimination game as well. So another reason I don't really love the first period over is I want the full game over to be part of the bet, the primary bet. Why is that? Because the third period is where the explosion could happen, especially if Colorado's trailing in this game. So the only pregame move for me is over 6 at around they're now minus 125 at Heritage Sports. Like I said, I shopped around, tried to get a 6. There's mostly 6.5s, but like I said, there are a few books that do have the total at 6 right now. By the way, at Pinnacle, it's over 6 minus 122 right now. So that's not a bad price. I would always take over 6 instead of 6.5, even if I have to lay a minus 122 price like what's available currently at Pinnacle. So that's the approach for me. I think Dallas team total over. I'm kind of with Matt, and I know Matt's a Stars fan, but I'm telling you that I don't mind that. I'm not betting that. I don't need to. I've got significant stake in Dallas winning the West and the Stanley Cup. There's zero reason for me to pile on. None. Get me to the West final. We're 4 wins away from at least the Western Conference futures cashing if they wrap up this series tonight. And that's basically the way I'm approaching it here. So, like I said, you talk about fascinating game. You talk about a case study type of hockey game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's what this is. Does one of these teams up 3-1 finally have the mentality to just put their foot on the throat of the opponent and end it? Rangers couldn't. Florida couldn't. Can the Dallas Stars finally be that team to say, you know what? This is over. We're the better team. We're coming out guns blazing tonight. We're not giving you any hope. We're not giving you any belief. We're not giving you any chance to even think you're going to make a series out of this. And that's what I want to see from Dallas. And I don't know if we're going to see it. I don't know if we're going to see it because we didn't see it from the Rangers. We didn't see it from the Panthers. And on the flip side, part of the reason why I don't know if we're going to see it is because I don't know what the fuck we're going to see from Colorado. Are we going to see them lay down again and just be demoralized and disheveled and woe is me, taking the ice and playing like in Game 4? Or are they going to look like a team that's ready to say, you know what, ready to save our season, ready to extend things, and ready to give the effort that's required to do so? That's why it's a fascinating watch here tonight. There are some props I like in this game. Obviously, Georgiev and Ottinger, your goaltenders, no changes there. There are some props I like here. It's been frustrating with some of these McKinnon props with the shots. I'm going back to the well. Over 4.5 shots on goal, Nathan McKinnon. He's the guy that's got to be beast mode. He's the guy that's got to say, you know what? Come on, guys. Can't let our season end with a whimper. 5 games on the road like this. We can't let it end like this. Follow my lead. General leads, the troops will follow. That's what Nathan McKinnon basically has to be like tonight. Be a general, lead this team, and over 4.5 shots on goal. I might even do the ladder on McKinnon tonight a little bit. 6, 7 shots, 8 shots, you get plus money. I like that as far as a prop goes. You could go with points and goals and assists, but if you're going to go in that route, you also have to trust them to beat a Jake Ottinger who's getting stronger and stronger and better as the playoffs are going on. There's no question. And so that's why the shots on goal is more, something that I'll be interested in with McKinnon as opposed to his, points and his production numbers. Lehkonen on the top line, as long as he's there, and it looks like he's going to at least start the game there. Now, Bednar put Drouin up there later in the game with McKinnon and Rantanen in Game 4. So there could be, and the one frustrating part about betting Abs player props, Bednar line blenders. Every single time things aren't going well, he's putting the lines in a blender and changing things up. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. But like I said, he's starting the game with Lehkonen, McKinnon, and Rantanen. He could move Drouin up there if there's something. If the first line's not clicking early in the game, he could always move Drouin up there like he did in Game 4. But Lehkonen and Drouin props, I don't mind both of those guys as far as dipping into the waters of shots on goal, goal prop, assist prop, that kind of thing. Um, we'll see how that goes for Colorado. Like I said, Devon Taves back with Makar is big for the blue line because I'll tell you what, it's not just that you didn't have you didn't have Devon Taves in Game 4. But do you know what the guy and look, this is a tough spot. Like Devon Taves is the next best defenseman after Makar. But Caleb Jones is the guy that took Devon Taves' spot in Game 4. And Caleb Jones was horrendous. I hate to pile on the poor guy. He's in a tough spot. He's suddenly playing when he's not expecting to play. But, he was awful. He took multiple penalties. He giveaways with the puck, just not sound at all, out of position in his own zone. It was just a nightmare game for Caleb Jones. And that was the guy taking the spot of Devon Taves in Game 4. So I feel bad for him. Like, it's just he wasn't expecting to play probably in that game, and then all of a sudden he has to because Devon Taves is a late scratch with late absence with the illness. But it couldn't have gone worse for him. So it's a huge, huge difference. Jones out, and now Devon Taves back in that spot. As far as Dallas props, Wyatt Johnston, yeah, but you are buying high on Johnston here. Look, he could pop any night for a goal, 2 goals, tons of shots on goal. The last game he did, of course, right before his 21st birthday. I've cautioned everybody, though. He's been good at home. He's been even better on the road. But certainly, if Wyatt Johnston's been a gold mine for most of us this year, certainly I can speak for me. What an incredible season and he's had for the Dallas Stars. He's playing with Ben and Pavelski. Pavelski is so close to finally getting a goal here. Is tonight the night? We'll have to wait and see. I think Logan Stankoven, shots on goal, maybe get on the board as well. And more importantly, the number one player prop for me here tonight is Mr. Seguin. And I know for the first time in 7 or 8 games, he had a 7 or 8 game streak prior to Game 4 where he went over 2.5 shots on goal. The streak ended in Game 4. He only had 2 shots. I would come back to the well here with Tyler Seguin one more time, over 2.5 shots on goal to score a goal in the game. He's done significant damage in his career over the Colorado Avalanche, so definitely liking that. Landon likes Robertson and Pavelski to score here tonight. I feel Pavelski is so close to getting one. There's no question. And Wyatt, to me, exactly, Terry. The one concern is after a super red hot game like Game 4, maybe a little quieter tonight. It's more of a Stankoven night for me. And Seguin, like I said, Seguin over 2.5 shots, maybe to find the back of the net. I'm interested there as far as his props are concerned. And I'm going to throw one out at you because this guy scored what ended up being, I believe, the game winner against Vegas in Game 7 back on May 5th, 10 days ago. And he's back in the lineup tonight on the 4th line. This is more of a gut feel because we know he doesn't score a shit ton. We know that. But he scored what ended up being the series-winning goal against Vegas. Radek Faksa back in the lineup tonight for the Dallas Stars. I don't know why, but I've had this feeling all morning and all afternoon so far that, just like in a series-clinching game like he had in Game 7, that maybe, just maybe, he finds the back of the net tonight in his return to the lineup, playing on that 4th line. That 4th line, which has been forechecking like crazy, and having some good shifts. And now they got Faksa back on that unit with Sam Steele. Craig Smith can't put a puck in the ocean right now. This poor guy. I mean, he keeps getting chances, and unfortunately, he just can't keep the puck. Just can't put the puck in an ocean right now. He's getting a million chances. Sammy Steele's been good on that line, but yeah, for Radek Faksa here, just a small little flyer for me, plus 725 to score a goal tonight. I just feel like, hey, he had that backhander, like I said, in the 3rd period of Game 7 against Vegas. It's just one of those feel type of bets for me, gut feel, that maybe Fox makes an impact there and finds one here in this game tonight. So those are the main ones that I'm looking at here. Like I said, if you're Colorado, you're gonna live and die tonight by Nathan MacKinnon, in my opinion. You've got to find a way to get him going. He's got to get rolling. I think there's a good chance he does that. I think it's a great, great night to look at McKinnon over shots, Seguin over shots, or the two shot on goal props that I like the most here in game 5 tonight. And like I said, a few of those goal and assist props as well that stand out. Stankoven, Seguin on the Dallas side. I think Pavelski might be due. The little shot here with Foxa. And then I would say Lehkonen and Drouin on Colorado, because they're on the left wing side on those top two lines. They're capable players. You get the discount price compared to obviously the likes of McKinnon and Ranton, and you get a discount with their goal prop, assist prop, etc. So yeah, Lehkonen and Drouin for Colorado. And by the way, what about the shot blocking machine? If you block shots, I don't bet a ton of them, but there's been certain players where they've been just great with the block shot prop. Trouba for the Rangers. The combination of Ian Cole and Tyler Myers for Vancouver have had a lot of block shot prop wins. Obviously for Dallas, that's the one, the only road grader, Christopher Tanev. And definitely I think his shots on goal prop, not shots on goal, block shot prop would be worth a look here in this game. Ottinger saves too, but the thing is, with the Ottinger saves prop, how many of those pucks are going to go get to the net when you got a guy like Tanev that's going to play a shit ton of minutes and blocks everything? Not to mention, don't sleep on Heiskanen blocking shots and Esa Lindell blocking shots for this Dallas team on the back end. So Tanev is over 3.5 block shots here, minus 120 to minus 130. So like I said, I think that's definitely something to keep an eye on here. That's a good one from Adams Digest. On the Colorado side, Makar. Exactly. With the Makar with the block shots, I think Miro Heiskanen's not a bad consideration for blocked shots, but obviously Tanev, it goes without saying. That guy he's the fork in the road, essentially, when it comes to Colorado trying to score goals at a consistent clip in this series. Some of the block shots he had in game 3 in particular, a couple games ago, like he's directly responsible for McKinnon not getting a goal with a wide open net in game 3. Like there was a wide open net. Ottinger was not going to be square to the shot. And there is Chris Tanev with his big fucking frame right in the way, staring down that shot, blocking it, doesn't even get to the net. That's what Jim Nill saw in him. That's why Jim Nill brought him to Big D, because he knew this is a guy you win Stanley Cup playoff games with for that defensive prowess, that physicality. And like I said, he'll put his face in front of a shot if he needed to. That's what you get from Chris Tanev, no doubt. So looking forward to game 5 tonight. Can't wait. Should be exciting. Can Dallas put their foot on the throat and end it? And can Colorado show some life, show some pulse, and show a want to keep their season alive, which we did not see from them in game 4. Great stuff. All right, reminder, BetCast tomorrow night, Patreon exclusive. Looking forward to it, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you missed last night's Patreon exclusive live BetCast, tomorrow night, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, we're back with another one. Again, $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. Again, join us for that BetCast, live betting, commentary, throw back a few beers, bar and a pub vibe as always with the BetCast. Looking forward to it. Rangers Hurricanes game 6, Oilers Canucks game 5 is the menu for the BetCast tomorrow night. So looking forward to that, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Sign up and subscribe for just $10 per month to be part of that BetCast, patreon.com/Ice Guys. And in addition, of course, access to the Patreon exclusive live BetCasts. With your subscription, you'll get access to our daily sides, totals, and player props posted on the page each and every day. Goalie charts, totals charts, and more bonus content. The Players Suite series is returning in the off season as well. So make sure you sign up, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month, and get in now before that BetCast tomorrow on Thursday night. And last but not least, of course, check out the Ice Guys store. Get your gear and your merch. Tons of great items available there. iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Alex B. Smith back in the house tomorrow for the Daily Show, as well as the BetCast. We've all missed him. And he's having a hard time getting around. He's got a ligament issue now he's dealing with. But from all indications, what he's told me, Alex will be back tomorrow 2 p.m. Eastern for the Daily Show, and then for the Betcast as well tomorrow night. So good to have our guy Alex back in the fold tomorrow and beyond. Good stuff. Again, shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Be back in just a moment with Bargain Bin Special of the Night and Best Bet coming up in a moment, right after we hear from our great sponsors. All right, Boston Hemp Inc. Make sure you check them out. Get 20% off all orders on the website using the promo code Ice Guys at bostonhempinc.com. All right, Bargain Bin Special of the night. We obviously only have one game to choose from tonight. Game 5 in Big D in Dallas between the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. For Bargain Bin Special, let me just see what the price is here on because if the price is I figured it wouldn't be bargain bin with price worthy with Sagan. It isn't. So I'm going to go to Logan Stankoven. I'm going to go back to Logan Stankoven here for Dallas plus 390 at FanDuel for him to find the back of the net, which I believe he's done. He did a couple of games ago, obviously. He's playing on the second line with Sagan, it looks like, tonight on that group. So it looks like I said, plus 390, pretty good price. We'll go with Logan Stankoven here for the Dallas Stars, playing with Robertson and Sagan on that second line as of right now, based on the line combination. So there you go, Logan Stankoven, Dallas Stars, plus 390 for my Bargain Bin Special of the night. All right, best bet. It's got to be over 6. It's the only bet I've got pregame as far as side or total is concerned. Although I did give consideration to making Nate McKinnon over 4.5 shots best bet, but I don't love making player props a best bet, because to me those can be a little bit dicey, a little bit of variance as far as the results are concerned. So let's just stick with the total. Pinnacle's got it at minus 122. Colorado, Dallas over 6. Minus 122. Both games in this series so far in Dallas, game 1 and game 2, both went over the total. I think we see more of the same tonight. I think Dallas will score theirs, because I don't trust Georgiev when he plays that well. Because let's be honest, you would think 5-1 loss. What happened to Georgiev? Nothing. Georgiev was outstanding. It's 8-1 without him in game 4. But he played extremely well. He's not the kind of goalie to play extremely well in his vocabulary 2 games in a row. I think Dallas can find the back of the net. But look, and Ottinger's in a zone right now. That's a problem for Colorado. But I think tonight they could punch a few home, assuming they bring some emotion and inspiration to the game, which you hope they do, because they certainly did not do that in game 4. So I'm going to rock with over 6 here, minus 122 for game 5, Colorado, Dallas for my best bet. That's a wrap. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Reminder again, Betcast tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Alex B. Smith returns to the fold as well for the Daily Show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. And Matt Robinson, of course, joining us as he usually does on Thursdays as well. Looking forward to that. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll be back with you tomorrow on Thursday for a doubleheader of the Ice Guys Daily Show, 2 p.m. Eastern. Me, Alex B. Smith, Matt Robinson, and the Betcast tomorrow night, Patreon exclusive at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us again on Thursday for more of the Ice Guys.